it is working. Oh, let's try this out. Yeah, guys, we're impending on a lot of retrogrades, so it's going to be interesting. The most specific one that I got is whatchamacallit. Let me send this out to a couple people first. The most interesting one is that Jupiter's going retrograde, and I always wonder when Jupiter and Mercury both go retrograde in kind of like a opposing or trining fashion that like it like counteracts the retrograde in some way, shape, or form, but we'll see. Let me send this out to a couple people and then we'll be bullshitting, talking about random stuff. Yeah. Who messaged me? Okay, cool. There we go. Hey, Celeste. Yeah, I got whatchamacallit. I go live to show off the app, talk about the retrogrades and stuff, and then I'm also seeing if the super chats work. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna send it over to Beans, and then Beans does the thing where the things happen. But yeah, okay. Let's get started. Oh, hey Beans, how's it going? So yeah, so the two main things that we're going to be talking about today is the retrograde of Mercury being retrograde in Sagittarius, and then inevitably in whatchamacallit, in Scorpio. And what I was talking about in the beginning of Scorpio season is how Mercury retrograde for 9 days in Sagittarius is going to show you like exactly what you need to be optimistic and excited about. So for Beans, it's her inevitable foray into politics. And then in Scorpio, you'll probably get distracted by all the old lady nonsense that was going on. And then, you'll be back and be like, oh yeah, why am I involved with this when I have more important things going on? Like, that's probably how it's going to go for you. And then when Jupiter actually retrogrades into Cancer on 11/11, it's going to be like this, like, childhood or early, like, past life, like, montage of something 10 years ago where you were like, this is what I always truly cared about. Now I'm going through the 11/11 portal and it's so important to me and blah, 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 and like that stuff. And then you have like this is what my life's purpose and what I was always meant to do type of thing, So if you were here in the beginning and talked about like my mild theory of how when, Jupiter and Mercury are retrograde in some like cohesive way, that is essentially the situation where we're like, what's going on here, because they're like symbiotic in some way and cohesive. So when we talk about that, it's kind of like, hey, what's going on here? What are we doing here? Oh, hey Barbie, thank you. Whoa, Beans, thanks so much. Wow. Do you got something specific you want to talk about, dog? It works. It finally works. Streaming is worth it. Yay. I gotta find like some like NPC streamer bullshit I can do. Where I do like something entertaining because I love being theatrical and entertaining. One day I should stream from my like my little adventures that I go on, and it's just like, yo, what the hell you got going on, dude? Yeah. Whoa, double trouble. That's crazy. This is cool. Thanks so much. So yeah, basically what's going on with Jupiter as well, and Beans, you're gonna probably make that back in affiliate sales on my app once I start talking about that. And I gotta get on that for you because I want to structure it in such a way to where it's like if they plug in your code, that automatically sends to the system of where like it splits off like 20 or whatever percentage I come up with, and just 20 is what's popping into my head right now, of the subscription fee, and it automatically sends it to you. So that'll be cool because I'm pretty sure you can promote it with extremeliness. But yeah, so basically what we're talking about here is essentially like what's the word? That too retrograde thingamabobber. Where it's kind of like Mercury retrograde is like sending you on your path of like what you should do, and then there will be some like overlapping alignment in regards to an overlapping alignment. Hey, we up. It's like an overlapping alignment of this is what you feel like you should do, this is what you're distracted by, and then this is what your life's purpose kind of is, right? So, for example, I'll show you kind of what it looks like in a second. But when Jupiter goes retrograde, that's like the whole thing. And it's specifically going retrograde on 11/11, which is like a whole portal, like change your emotional state type of thing of what you care about and what you incarnated for, right? So, what the hell? Oh, that's cool. But yeah, anyways, let me show you what's going on and how it would actually look in the body, right? Okay, so this is kind of what I've been wanting to do. This is the app I wanted to create it for a while. I'll show you. Let me know if you have any specific questions or specific readings, right? So, when we're actually looking at the chart, right, and we're talking about Mercury and whatchamacallit, Mercury and Jupiter retrograde, it shows that this is like, we'll use Scorpio ascendants, for example. So right now, Jupiter is kind of in like the 9th house for Scorpio ascendants, and Mercury would be in the like, it would technically be in the 2nd, but it's moving up into the 1st at some point. So basically what it does is, for this person in particular, it's like their philosophies and their old philosophies are going to be having a resurgence in some way, shape, or forms. So they're going to be excited to push it. They're going to want to move. They're going to want to express these things. They're going to want to make it happen in such a way to where they can actually express themselves. I really need accounts in such a way to where I can like shift this to every single reading when I actually do a reading on here. That would be super sick. Let me know if you guys like that idea. But so for this person in particular, it's like their old philosophy is going to come back in terms of what they like originally like started or they originally pushed this for. For me, for example, this app right here is always what I've dreamed of and always what I wanted to do, and I had it at one point, and then it got ripped away from me for, you know, various reasons. In my private group, I actually discussed it extensively, where I like showed the exact time, dates, Beans, you'll probably remember this, and the specific times of like when I got the gift and the opportunity and the exact moment that it was ripped away from me, and it was all about like Aquarius. And long story short, for me in particular, it was like a Pluto transit that actually like made it happen, of where it was like I needed to wait till Pluto actually entered Aquarius and solidified itself there before this could return, because I needed training and the proper power to, you know, I basically learned marketing and how to manage like internet groups and all that stuff, right? Which I spent 3 years learning, and here we are. So essentially the old vision is coming back now that I have the proper tools, right? So essentially what we have going on right here with Mercury being in Sagittarius is this is basically, oh, thank you. Yeah, I was working on that. And then I'm working on a thing, where it's like I want to, so the grand vision of this is like I want it to like zoom in and have like a whole like constellation, like cosmic type of look. And then it's like you can click and like zoom in on planets and then zoom in on the house and then zoom in on this, and it's kind of like a 3D like VR world of where you can like literally see videos of me explaining each individual thing and blah 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 blah. So yeah, stuff like that. That's what's coming. But yeah. But back to the point at hand, as the retrogrades, is with Mercury being retrograde in my quote-unquote 2nd house, essentially right now is it's just like my optimistic ideas are about like how can I make money with this, because, you know, for lack of a better term, without money the dream dies. Money is currency is the encapsulating tool that we are utilizing to basically store human energy, attention, and value, right? So it's just like I need to collect that to put it into here to do XYZ things, right? But when it retrogrades into Scorpio, I will be very, very likely to be ego tripping and thinking about me, 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 me. How am I going through this? How am I blah, 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 right? And essentially, the thing about that is like I have to remember that like since I moved and I'm on my relocation chart, my relocation ascendant is essentially 28 degrees Libra, right? So it's all about me creating like a very like philanthropic, opportunistic thing for me to basically give to the world, right? So for some of you that are already in the app, you may have noticed that you got an 80% discount code to actually support yourself and be in this situation, right? So me doing things like that, the practical logic that I came up with that is like, okay, I want to build a foundation that always makes sure this app is profitable in some way, shape, or form, to essentially like basically create a foundation of like little subscription fees that are so minuscule that people will never cancel for multiple reasons. Of one, they won't notice it. Two, they, you know, it's an insignificant amount of money to them and they get an outrageously source of value in return. And three, you know, who the hell cancels like a $2 subscription? Has anybody ever done that? No. You kind of like forget about it and go, nah, it's only $2, and then you never come back to it, you know? So I want to build up a big foundation of that, which is like essentially what this Mercury retrograde is like getting me to think about in order to like support other people. And that's kind of like the mechanism that I created. Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, essentially that's like the routine. Like, so if you see right here, so it's like Mercury's retrograde in my second house, thinking about like opportunistic things to make this monetizable. And then when Mercury retrogrades into the first house for me, essentially what that is like me like creating a cohesive, like I guess you could call it like a guardrail script for Mercury inevitably retrograding into my first house and blah 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 blah. You know. So essentially, that is the vibe of what we got going on for this retrograde for a Scorpio ascendant in particular. Does anybody have? If you guys want to drop your, here, let me put it in the thing. If anybody wants to drop your rising sign, I will also do a personalized reading for whatchamacallit, for the thingamabobber. There. Okay, y'all are on the list. Fire. Okay, let's go back to this. If I do Aries, I could definitely do that. Okay. So for Leo ascendants, essentially Leo would have Jupiter in their 12th house, and then they would have Sagittarius, I believe, in their like 5th or 4th house, depending on this. For the Solar Map app, I do. One second, let me just clean the camera. For the Solar Map app, I do whole sign, just because it's easier for the computer to compute. So, let me zoom in too. So yeah, for Libra, one second, I gotta check on something. Everybody else drop your rising sign so I can get you in the queue. Okay, sorry, I had to check on my laundry. I overloaded it and I was like, oh dang, I hope it's not I hope it's not stopping or overflowing. One of them isn't happening, but it's still going, so whatever. But anyways, so with Jupiter being in the 12th house and going retrograde in the 12th house for Leo ascendants, and then oh, we got 2 Libras, cool. Thank you, Celeste. And then also Sagittarius in the 5th house. What's kind of going on with that is like, I mean, like, to use you beings for example, it's like with your whole legal situation, and here, whatchamacallit. So yeah, so with you being like in the House of Commons and like all that stuff, basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna be super excited, you're gonna make it happen, you're gonna keep working on XYZ. And then essentially what's going to happen for you is Jupiter is going to retrograde back up into your 4th house, and all that family trauma is going to come back up, right? So your daughter is going to be like, ugh, you can be a good blah, 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 but were you a good parent? Or, and then, you know, your mom's probably going to be like, no, you can't do this. You never amount to anything. And then you're going to have this whole crying montage of, hopefully you remember this so you don't actually do it, where you're like, no, I can't amount to anything, but I just did it so I can amount to blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to see like visions of your dad again, when you're going to get like little visions of like, pull your head out of your ass, and you know, like stuff like that, right? So basically, like, that's how it's going to go. Like, you're going to remember you have purpose, you care about people, and you're a bit more definitive about how you actually care about people, in regards to, like, I don't know, like, when I think about that, I think about other people in the chat. Whatchamacallit? Beans, I think you're someone that is incredibly creative and has a lot of successful potential, but I think you have generational trauma in the forms of self-worth and poverty on you, and I think that the Scorpio thing will try to distract you from what you have, and I think you could easily solve it now because you have the tools to do so. But I'm just warning you that whatchamacallit, I'm just warning you that Mercury will bring these like familial things up of like if you like can actually do something or not, because the opportunity will be there and those old emotions will pop up. I'm not saying you haven't worked through it. I'm not saying that shadow work hasn't like done its thing. I am saying essentially that like I'm basically saying that, like, you know, the universe recognizes what your old trials and tribulations were, and when Mercury is in retrograde, we get past traumas resurfacing, and since Scorpio is your 4th house, it will be familial. That's what I'm saying. So it's like old hopes, old dreams, old problems, you know? It's like one of the biggest quotes that I really enjoyed recently hearing is that your problems grow up too, you know? And like that celestial mechanism for why that is like you, oh sweet, yeah, I got this fire plant. I go, oh, I gotta show you my plant. I got this purple plant, but then I'm gonna get back to talking serious. You check out my plant. I always like having really cool colored plants in my house, exclusively just to stunt on people. You know, like I used to have a rainbow fern, but then it died. I gotta get a new one. But yeah, that rainbow fern was sick. That rainbow fern was blue, purple, yellow, green. Who has a plant that's all those colors? Not you, but I did. Ha ha. But anyways, so when we're talking about the concept of like your problems grow up too, essentially, what that is you are oscillating in the same vibrational frequency of what you had going on. It may be conscious, it may be subconscious. I can't exactly define that to you in a definitive way. That's kind of like a very personal thing, so I can't, you know, it's like, what you gonna do? So yeah, it's kind of like you haven't really released that frequency, you haven't released that experience, you haven't released that situation from your auric field or whatever, and you're kind of just like screwed until you do, right? So then it's like it keeps growing with you, it keeps leeching off of you, right? It's similar to how like the Bible used to warn people about demons, right? And the often correlation that people make to demons nowadays are like infections, parasites, and things that actually leech off of you and literally change your mood and your like how you are as a person, right? So that's why it's like they warned about like unclean animals and what clean animals are and so on and so forth, because that is how, you know, quote unquote demons actually infect you, right? So this is just, you know, things to think about. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you guys like my app, it's linked in the description. Feel free to sign up. Eventually Beans is gonna have a specific discount code that directly supports her. So if you want that, hold off, hit me up, and I'll actually get focus on that. But yeah, so that's pretty much the vibe for Leo ascendants. Anyways, I think we're moving on to Libra ascendants. Yes, Libra ascendant. Okay, so we can bring the visualization back because Libra ascendants are similar. Yeah. Okay. So, imagine this says Libra. So basically, Mercury retrograde is in the third house. So it's the throat chakra. And then we have Cancer in the 10th house. Or, yeah, that'll be right. So then we have Cancer in the 10th house, right? So Jupiter would be in your 10th house, right? So basically, what this is saying to you is that old inspirations will lead to old career desires, right? So, we'll use Celeste for example. Celeste, the software engineer, has app ideas that she's probably had for a really long time, or some type of, you know, data structuring improvement type of thing that she could be utilizing to support herself right now, right? And the old inspiration is coming. But the issue with Libra ascendants is they care about other people way too much, and they really shouldn't, right? So with Mercury retrograde here, these old forms of inspiration will be sparking their own ideas, other people's ideas, and essentially, whatchamacallit, Scorpio rising just passed, but if you want to, you know, get your own little solar map John going, solarmap.app, link in the description. But so yeah, sign up, and then, you know, Celeste, you're like Celeste's bestie, right? So Celeste has a discount code. If you want it, you can use it. But yeah, anyways, so basically for Libras, they are they have the gift that Sagittarius needs, which is to impart their optimism on other people if they so choose. And essentially what that is an opportunity for like them to actually give life to their optimistic ideas and forms of inspiration, right? So essentially what that is an opportunity to really like take hold and give life to that feeling of optimism that they have without actually, you know, doing something or so on and so forth, right? So with that being said, essentially what we have going on here is an opportunity for them to, especially with Mercury retrograding back into Scorpio, to take those old optimistic ideas and be like, hey, what if I did self-talk the way I do external other people talk? What if that happened? What if something had shook? What if we actually made that happen? Wow, if we actually did that, oh, I don't know. Maybe a thing could happen and maybe we could probably make some money at it, right? So with, sorry, I gotta work on this where the planets overlap and they actually move over. Which one's Mercury? I know Mercury's here. Yeah, whatever. But with Mercury, whatchamacallit, but with Mercury being retrograded back into the second house for Libra ascendants, essentially what Mercury has is an opportunity to basically like give you a very, very deep focus, powered by the pain of regret, basically, where you're just like, oh, shit, I should have been doing this for a long time. And then you're gonna, you know, all that like deep work talk of where you're actually accomplishing what needs to get done, hits you just super, super hard. And you're like, damn, I should actually be getting on this. I should be making this happen. I should be doing this and like accomplishing the thing that I actually want to do or set out to do, because you know, it could work. Like this could happen. This could be made, right? So it's like kind of like this I don't know, it's like this like divine self-absorbed boundary type of thing where it's like you recede into yourself, not because you hate people, not because you want to like hermit out of fear or doom scrolling induce social anxiety. It's because you want to recede yourself, hoard your energy, and actually store that within in such a way to where it's like, I'm going to use this for me. I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to make it happen for me, because I need it, right? And inevitably that will help everyone else around me. Inevitably that will help all the people I want to support. Why? Because, I don't know. You can't pour from an empty cup, diphthong. What do you expect, right? So it's like the same reason I pursued getting my YouTube channel monetized is because it's like, I want to put more time into my astrology business. I want to put more time into my astrology efforts. Like, to accelerate the retrograde of what I said for Scorpio Ascendants, where I start ego tripping. I think I am like one of the best astrologers to ever walk the earth. I think I'm one of the most creative business people to ever walk the earth. I think I'm one of the most like successful people that will probably exist by creating numerous different things that you don't even know I'm a part of and yet I control, So like, I want to show that. I want to express that. I want to do that, right? Like like I just think I'm the best and there's like no comparison. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't even try or like move to oscillate in the realm that like I have put out into this world. So, yes, I recognize that's ego tripping, and yes, I sarcastically said I'm accelerated the Scorpio retrograde. But essentially it's just like that's why I put this out. That's why I did this stuff. That's why I forgot why I'm even saying this. Oh yeah, right. Because the whole Libra thing about like without money the dream dies, So it's like can't pour from an empty cup, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to do more. I want to make this stuff happen. I want to actually put these things out into the world that actually like support them and are completely outside of me. Like that's the whole thing, right? To truly create something that is outside of yourself because everybody you love, everybody you hate, everybody that you have a problem with, like the reincarnation cycle is coming. It'll start within 50 years from now, and for some of you even sooner. So does it really matter? Should you create something for yourself? Is that another reason for why the ego is a distraction at the end of the day? Yes. So yeah, that's kind of like, that's why you should, I don't know, at least personally, that's why I aspire to create something outside of myself so that I can live on completely separate from me. And then I also look at it in a way of where it's like when people talk about legacy is like setting up generational wealth for your spirit to collect energy from a lifetime that you had long ago to do whatever you want with, right? So when you do it in such a way to where you create something outside of yourself and it still has your energetic imprint on it, I kind of look at it as the same way as like doing fancy like legal and entity structuring for your energetic legacy, right? So it's just like when you create something outside of yourself that is its own name and different brand, but you own it spiritually, and it's like your spiritual IP, it's kind of like putting that entity under a trust that owns an S corp that's wrapped in and that's owning an LLC that you have control of but do not technically own on paper. So that's kind of like how I like look at it, right? Of where it's like proper spiritual legal structuring for your entities so that it doesn't have the signature of it being specifically known as you, because it's like when you shed your vessel and you move on in such a way, people having you on their mind or your previous incarnation on your mind will like bound you to this world and put you in that loop of like the biblical reincarnation cycle battery that is put out to the world of where it's like, go to the light. Oh, well, what happens when you go to the light? You get sent back here. So go to the dark, And then it's like a lot of, other complexities. So yeah. But those are that's pretty much my rant on that. I should do a whole live on how to, energetically power up your spirit and structure those things because it's something interesting. I think that would be like something that would be cool to have people learn and inevitably like put a bunch of work into that is probably unnecessary for this lifetime, but still would be cool, So yeah, anybody else want to hear about their rising sign or things like that? Does anybody want to also be like, does anybody also want to be like, young man, you haven't been through your Saturn return. Don't tell me nothing about nothing. You don't know what life is. I always love that. That's always fun. That's always fun. Virgo? Do I remember you? No, I don't remember you. But I can do Virgo. Oh yeah. I like trolling. Yeah. Bro, I live in America. That's like so nondescript, but now that you say it, yeah, I remember you the dude that was complaining about all that stuff, but being like, yeah, you were like, I give people money, but I can't. Well, you don't need astrology to tell you that the dickhead move. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, Virgo is dealing with, they're dealing with a lot of, so, wait, where is it? Jupiter, Cancer would be in your 11th house. Yeah. So for you, you're dealing with a lot of old familial and social pressures. And eventually that will lead into you having a sharpened communication mechanism. So essentially what that is like you're going to, oh, dude, you're doing better. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. But yeah, so you're going to get a lot of old like social and family pressure kind of hit you. And then you're going to be like, screw that stuff. Sorry, I'm monetized on YouTube now. I don't know if I can like curse the way I used to. But yeah, you like basically, people are just gonna try you, and you're gonna be like, kind of entertaining it for like the next week, and then you're gonna be like, I despise these people. Why are they even trying me? And you're gonna set very harsh, snarky boundaries. Specifically because, oh wow, that's awesome. Damn, dude, that turned around fast. That really turned around fast. Congratulations. But yeah, yo, shouts out to you, dude. Yeah. Yo, one of the things I learned, because I've been big forehead Gary's been infecting a lot of like my friends' feeds, and where he's like super into like Chinese astrology and stuff, and like, my homie was like, "Bro, we're in our enemy year," and I was like, "Is that why I had all those things?" Because like this year I had to buy like 6 new tires. I had to pay so much money for car stuff I had to pay like $3,000 in like car repairs over the summer. Terrible. Then like other suboptimal things happened, and then he was like, "Oh, it's your enemy year," and I was like, "Is next year the lucky year?" And it is, but I was just like, "Dang!" So then that led me down a whole like rabbit hole of like how I actually do like predictive year astrology readings, and I was like, "Okay, we need to know your numerological year, we need to know your Chinese zodiac year, and then we pull your solar return and figure out everything that's going on." I was gonna make a whole like TikTok and also like little like course on how to actually do it in the school, but yeah, and then actually I think the TikTok I'm gonna make today is about like Western versus Vedic astrology, and then basically give like the whole overview. Um, yeah, yeah, dude. I will. You can always count on me for giving you harsh, objective truth, man. Shouts out to American East Coast vibes, because we'll help you, but we're disagreeable and we'll tell you you're stupid. But yeah, whatchamacallit? Let me play with the lighting. Cause now, Beans, now I'm seeing what you're saying. Now I'm seeing what you're saying. I gotta play with the lighting. Oh, thanks for teaching. Appreciate that. But yeah, and then yeah, today I think I'm gonna do the TikTok thing of where it's like Western versus Vedic, and then I'm gonna be like do the same model as like my course of where it was like, okay, yes, this is a thing, yes, that's a thing, but like, you know, all of this is present as well, and you need to understand that, right? Yeah. I know what Hindi is. Thank you. Dude, happy to help. But yeah. I don't know, anybody else got anything going on? Yeah, for sure. Yo, Orion Sky, I got a whole playlist on every constellation in the or every star in the Orion constellation if you want to check it out. Yes. How could I not remember you, dude? You just like went through the whole diatribe of what was going on, and I remember that because I was like, bro, like, what are you saying? You know? But yeah. Oh yeah, dude. If in case you want to support, click the link in the description. I got my own astrology app now. Tap in with your boy. Let me see if people signed up. I'm gonna be pissed because I sent so many messages and no one actually signed up. Of course, they're being dicks. Yeah. Hey man, I'm gonna be mean. I'll tell you, but you know, you'll have a better life. Ah, come on, this is lame. People need to sign up. Yeah, dude. People need to hear it. Like, is it really, you know, is it really effed up if it helps you? Or is it just kind of mean, but it helps you? And then is it really mean if it's just something you needed to hear? Big things. Yeah, tough love for realsies. Beans, get people to sign up for my app. This is like, I'm gonna, here, let me get my top hat. All right, 1 second. Top hat. Where is it? Aha. It's big business season. Here we go. It's disagreeable businessman season. Sign up for my app and give me money. Yes, I feel so much more professional. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you need the old kick in the butt, you know? I'm here for it. And I'll give that kick in the butt even when you don't want it or need it. Why? Because it's big business season. Big business. Thank you. I love this hat. It's my tie you up and leave you on the railroad hat. You feel me? And I need my little stash. Yeah. You know, Beans? Probably not, but maybe. Yeah, I remember how old my spirit is. You're all my children. I just like to incarnate this way for funsies. Because youth is a very, very powerful thing that people don't understand how to use, you know? I like to think that this life is the embodiment of you know, of youth is not wasted on the young. Thank you. But yeah, that's about it for me, guys. If you don't mind, all of you click the link in the description and sign up for the Solar Map app. Solarmap.app. Get yours today.